This changed your life.
Definitely, in every aspect.
And you were getting punched in the face. Gangs were getting you down on the ground in the shower.
The adults in the program failed. As soon as I spoke up, I was not a team player anymore. They told me I was a punk. They told me I didn't toughen up.
You know, what's it take before people say enough is enough and too much is too much? Isaiah Humphries made headlines when he spoke out about his hazing during his freshman year at Penn State on the football team. Take a look.
Former player Isaiah Humphries claims that 4 upperclassmen repeatedly hazed him and other lowerclassmen and subjected them to simulated sexual assaults, both clothed and naked in the showers. Attorney Marino says both Humphries and his father reported the incidents to Penn State and to the football coaching staff. The suit claims the coaching staff responded with administering tougher drills on Humphries, which eventually led to him giving up his scholarship and transferring to the University of California.
Now, Isaiah says what happened to him freshman year was more than just hazing. It was a failure by all the adults involved.
Football has always been my entire life. My father played at Penn State. He ended up playing for the Colts, Tampa Bay, Buffalo Bills. So when I committed to Penn State after high school, I was on top of the world. But going to Penn State was a dream that turned into a nightmare. Some people would say that I was hazed, but I believe I was sexually assaulted. At Penn State, there was a lot of unwritten rules. Most of them had to do with hierarchy. Younger guys being targeted by older guys. Someone would be sitting at the locker, 3 or 4 guys would start tackling them on the ground, and they're in their towel and they're screaming, "No, stop, please." I would constantly see players try to grab underneath towels and try to grab underneath mine. There was a time when I came out of the locker room and they stole my clothes and forced me to run around the entire facility. So I called my father and we're on the phone with my coach during the altercation. And he tells me that it's not a big deal. I'm on the phone in real time trying to get this issue resolved. My coach still failed me right there in that moment.
Well, Isaiah, thank you for being here and talking about this.
Thank you, Dr. Phil. I'm glad to be here.
This changed your life.
Definitely, in every aspect.
What was your high school football experience like?
Amazing. I won the North Texas Defensive Player of the Year. I ended up getting around 30 plus offers. I played in stadiums that were packed every Friday. It was a dream come true.
You wanted to play in the NFL?
Yes.
Your father played in the NFL?
Yes, sir.
He played for the Colts?
Colts, Tampa Bay, and Buffalo Bills.
This was in your family. This was part of your legacy. This is what you wanted to do.
I would be the 7th person in my family to play in the NFL if that was the case.
You feel like this got taken away from you?
Completely stripped away.
Why did this happen?
Because I spoke out against something that happened to me that was very terrible. I reached out to my coaches and decided to speak up about the tragedies that were happening in the locker room, and I was ostracized immediately. And that sent me into a negative spiral in the football world. That's why we're here now.
You understood being a freshman that you were a freshman and you were going to take some guff, right? You
yes,
knew.
Of course.
I played football at a Division I school, and I was a freshman, and I went through some of that, but it never got mean-spirited. It never got out of hand. When I read the things that happened to you, I thought, that's not hazing. That's psychopathic behavior. That's out of control.
Yes.
When you went to the coach, what did you say?
I spoke to him. I said, "Coach, they're dry humping people. They're grabbing under towels. They're trying to attack me. I'm fighting for my life out here. I'm scared to go to the facility. Every day I wake up in the morning, I almost want to cry myself to sleep every night."
And you were getting punched in the face. Gangs were getting you down on the ground in the shower. Why do you think that was going on?
Honestly, Dr. Phil, this went on because the adults in the program failed to do what they're supposed to.
When you did speak up, what did the coaches say?
They explained that boys would just be boys, and that it wasn't a big deal. The thing is, you can't say much. You don't have any equity, we call it, in football. So if you haven't been there for a long time, you haven't had any accomplishments, you can't say anything. Your voice is pretty much non-existent. So As soon as I spoke up, I'm not a team player anymore. They told me I was a punk. They told me I need to toughen up, that I need to get a little thicker skin.
Mm-hmm.
And they treated me like I was weak for standing up for myself.
What'd you think about that?
It's unacceptable. I stand for the truth. I'm a courageous individual. I cannot just let it slide. Speaking out against hazing is important, and I got punished for it. I receive death threats on a daily basis. No matter where I go, no one wants to touch me. Teams want to pick me up. My football dreams? They're gone.
You said you were threatened by a player. What happened?
We had a player, he was from Canada. So I decided to go up there with one of my other teammates. Well, he didn't like that I was going to visit his city. So he put out his phone and called a hitman and said that if you see this man in Ottawa, kill him on sight. And he wasn't joking. So I called my father and said they put a hit on me. I'm freaking out, I'm paranoid. And I reported it to the coaches as well. And they told me that it was a joke. But I don't take hits lightly.
It wasn't funny to you.
It was not funny to me at all.
Yeah. And this is somebody that was giving you a lot of grief.
I used to carry a knife with me in the shower. I used to carry a knife around school just because I knew that if it got down to it, that was the only thing that was going to save me from these people who are physically superior to me.
I want people to put themselves in your position. We're talking about a group of guys, big guys, powerful guys.
I don't know if you've ever seen someone bench 500 pounds, Dr. Phil.
I have.
It is absolutely amazing. But then you have 3 or 4 people who are doing that and they're pinning you down, you have no chance. I mean, at Penn State, their whole goal is to recruit superhumans. So I'm fighting people that don't look real. They're tall, they're heavy, they're strong.
And so they tell you, hey, boys will be boys. Well, if that's the definition of boys to be boys, to sustain that argument, you have to have men stop being men because they're to step up and control that kind of thing.
Exactly.
You say it followed you when you went to another school. How so?
Yes. I went to California, all the way across the country, the furthest place that I could go. Yeah. I received a text message from one of the coaching staff at my school, and they told me that Penn State called and told them that I was a head case and I was too smart because I would destroy a program. And the biggest thing for me, Dr. Phil, is I was an 18-year-old kid. Why would you target me all the way across the country? I'm 3,000 miles away. It just didn't make sense to me.
How do you feel about the fact that this all disappeared for you? That if 7 people in your family in the NFL, this got taken away from you? It
hurts me deeply. Like, that's a complicated question because there's so many emotions that I feel. I feel like I was this close, and I feel like it was stolen from me. Sometimes it's hard to live with.
We have a statement from Penn State. Penn State was pleased with the judge's decision to dismiss the university defendants from this lawsuit in 2021. Student safety is a top priority at Penn State. Hazing is illegal and prohibited for any university. Organizations or individuals found responsible for hazing under Penn State's policy, whether occurring on or off campus, may be subject to disciplinary action by the university and may also face criminal charges under state law. When Penn State is alerted to evidence of hazing, the university takes immediate action to investigate and impose significant sanctions. Penn State strongly encourages all members of the university community who believe they have witnessed, experienced, or are aware of conduct that constitutes hazing to report that conduct to the appropriate university office and/or the appropriate law enforcement agency. So what do you say to that?
Well, I think something that's a key component for people to understand is how this is structured. After I reported what was going on, one of the assailants was charged by the university. Now, after they were charged, they did an investigation, and they came to the conclusion that he was guilty. They signed paperwork, he admitted to guilt. They actually punished him with a 600-word essay about what was going on and his experience and why he wouldn't do it again. After I decided to enter a lawsuit against them, they decided to pay for his lawyers, even though they brought charges against the assailant. So they're protecting him in court against me. This is what's going on right now. My judge also went to Penn State.
Seems fair to me.
This is the biggest thing you need to know, Dr. Phil. I'm not fighting to prove that what happened happened. It's already been admitted. This is about visibility. This is about silence. They don't want me to speak.
They've not been without other controversy.
They have a history.
Well, I'm glad you're here today because I want people to understand what happened to you and what got taken away from you.
Yeah.
That's not part of the deal. That's not what you signed up for. And look, there are supposed to be adults involved in this situation. These kids are given too much power. Maybe they do it because it was done to them. I don't know what excuse they may come up with. But the whole point is there are supposed to be adults in this situation that step in and say, hey, that's crossing the line, straighten up. We're here to play football. We're here to do this sport. And you conduct yourself like intelligent young men. And instead, it's covered up, swept under the rug. And there are adults who don't step up and have the courage to do the right thing.